KT McFarland, who is standing by in Washington, D.C. as well. KT, of course, is a Fox News analyst, and she is our national security expert. Thanks for joining us, KT.
Thank you, Heather.
Well, you and I have been talking about this situation in Egypt pretty much from the beginning. This is day 18, still going on. What are your thoughts about what happened yesterday?
Well, I think we're now at a Mexican standoff. You've got the protesters, the demonstrators, those ranks are swelling, they're disappointed. They're on one side. And then on the other side of the Mexican standoff is Mubarak and the leadership. And caught in the middle is the military. Now, as Doug just pointed out, so far the military seems to have backed Mubarak and Suleiman, who is his hand-picked vice president. But the question will be, as this escalates, and I think it will. I think the crowds will swell. I think the administration in Egypt is more dug in. What happens with the military? Is the military a unified voice? I don't think so. If you look at how the military in Egypt is structured, the senior military leadership, very close to the American military leadership. They've known each other for 30 years. The Egyptian military trains in the United States, and we have been in very close contact with them, our Secretary of Defense, their Secretary of Defense, our Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, their equivalent Army Chief of Staff. So that relationship is solid. But the question is, where are the junior officers? Where are the majors? Where are the colonels? Where are the lieutenant colonels? They're probably more allied with the people on the street. They're of the same generation. In Egypt, there's universal military service for men. So a lot of them, you have to think a little bit differently. Is the military, what if the military says to the whole the military senior leaders say to the junior leaders, okay, we want you to stop the protests. We want you to clear out the square. Are the junior militaries are they going to accept those orders or not? We don't know. And so that's why I think we're at a Mexican standoff, or to use another analogy, the dominoes are falling. You just don't know which direction they're going to fall in, but they're falling.
Yeah, well, KT, they said clear the square last night. Lots of people just laid down exactly where they were. They, had a sleepover in Tahrir Square. Let's take a listen to one of the comments from Hosni Mubarak yesterday.
From this point, I am convinced of the truthfulness of your intentions and your movement, and that your demands are just and legitimate demands. Errors can happen in any political system, in any country. However, the most important thing is to recognize those errors and correct them as fast as possible, and to persecute those who committed those errors. And I'm telling you, as President of the Republic, I don't see any problem at all in listening to the youth of my country and responding to them. But the problem is, and the shame is, and this is something that I will never accept, to listen to something that is dictated to me from a foreign source, no matter what the source is, and no matter what the justifications are.
So, KT, who is that foreign source? Was that directly speaking to Obama and the United States, do you think?
Bingo. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the administration has not handled this well so far. They've spoken with many different voices. They've spoken all the time. Every day they've had a comment. And what they've done is, instead of being quiet publicly, but then working behind the scenes to help the situation along, they've done just the opposite. They've talked a lot about it. They've humiliated Mubarak. He's a proud man. He's proud of his record. And what they've done is they forced him to dig in. And so he's now saying, I'm not going anywhere. But at the same time, by President Obama, by the White House, by the State Department, all having different messages, they've in effect fanned the flames and the hopes of the demonstrators to say, President Mubarak should have left yesterday. President Mubarak's on his way out. The youth of Egypt are speaking. So they're all dug in. So you got Mubarak dug in, you got the protesters dug in, and what has happened in the long run is that the administration, President Obama and the United States, we look pretty ineffectual. We're the biggest donors to that country, and yet we're in the public trying to make this pronouncement, that projection, and we look like a paper tiger. So I think everybody loses under that circumstance. And now, again, we're at the Mexican standoff.
And that has a ripple effect to countries nearby, near Egypt. We're talking about Israel and how they feel about the situation that's going on right now.
Yeah, and you know, who's in charge here? There are two models to look at in the Middle East right now. You know, because as goes Egypt, the whole region will go that way, because Egypt is the sort of beating heart of the Muslim world. There's the Iran example, where Jimmy Carter helped shove the Shah off the throne in 1978, 1979, and then sat on his hands and didn't help Iran build the institutions of democracy that were needed. So the end result, the mullahs came in, slaughtered everybody, and we know what's happened there. The other example, which is the good one, is what happened in the Reagan and Bush 41 administrations, where the Iron Curtain came down, all those countries, the governments fell, East Germany, Hungary, Poland, Czech Republic, they all fell, and the United States didn't sit on its hands. The United States sort of shoved and pushed and encouraged, you know, accountants, political organizers, community organizers to go into those countries and help them, not tell them what they needed to do next, but help facilitate and build the institutions that were necessary for them to have democracy. So now, who are our strongest allies in the world, the most vibrant democracies? Well, it's all those countries in Eastern Europe. So which way Egypt goes? Well, it could go the Iran direction, it could go the Eastern Europe direction. We certainly know which one we'd like it to do, but right now we're not doing real well.
And KT, we appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
As
Heather.
always, your insight, definitely great to hear. Thank you.
Thanks, Heather.
We appreciate it. And we're going to take a quick break, but we will be right back.